So the next topic is sort of to do a little bit with your job, which we haven't really talked about a little bit. We gave a little hint. You work at IGN, right?
Yes.
But what do you do exactly at IGN?
I am a producer for the social media team.
So I want to talk about social media and sort of just like our thoughts on social media and like how it sort of affects like everyday life, and sort of like what are your favorite social medias, places, or whatnot. So I thought I would be a good topic for you, the social media man, social media guy at IGN.
Social media expert.
Yeah, exactly.
No, we have a social media team.
Yeah.
Social media is great, and you should follow all forms of IGN on social media, including Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, we probably got a MySpace page somewhere. I don't fucking have anything to do with it. Social media is an incredible tool that some people hide behind. So it's one of these things. I have my dream job because of social media.
Yeah.
My job is to pretty much do all things that involve communicating directly with our fans, which is it's very powerful.
Yeah.
You know, if I put Brian Altano on camera and tweet it directly at a fan who's having a bad day, their day has changed.
Exactly.
You know, and it's very hard for without social media to do that. That being said, social media also gives a voice to people who want to be mean and negative, but that's the world. My favorite is Twitter because everything that you need to be, anything that needs to be said can be said in about 140 characters, which is the limit on Twitter. I think there's very few exceptions to that, except for like when I'm promoting stuff on Twitter. But even then, it's like if like they gave me like 5 more characters, I'd be fucking fine.
Yeah.
But they'll fix that.
It's there's definitely a science about it. Like,
oh yeah,
when you're 9 characters over and you're like, how can I dwindle this down but still make it grammatically correct?
Yeah.
It's like a fun game every once in a while, and I like it.
People always laugh because my tweets are like very. I don't proofread my tweets before I send them out.
Yeah.
I just send them out. People are like you
that
never
confident.
People are like, you never spell anything right or use any correct grammar. I'm like, I do it all the time. You just don't notice it because I'm tweeting under the IGN account. But as soon as I get home, I stop proofreading my tweets. And then it's like, whoops.
Yeah.
I meant to put an and there, and that's the wrong there.
I mean, the social media is cool and weird. It's sort of like, it's like a ladle. You can like you can use it to help make this beautiful thing, or you can use it to hit someone. It's like any sort of tool where it can be so cool, but like just very negative and weird at the same time. A couple of weeks ago, I think we got our first negative comment, and it was like, is this even necessary? It was like a YouTube video I think I had done, and it was like barely anybody watched it. And it was just like, what are you trying to gain here? Like, what? And like, I wasn't mad or anything. It was
Trying
just
to gain this attention.
Yeah, that's true. I don't even remember the fucking name, so they don't really get the attention. But it's, I don't know, it's cool because it's a way for me to connect with family. At least Facebook is. Like Facebook is like basically family mecca now. Like Facebook used to be the cool thing, right? It's like, oh yeah, all your friends are on Facebook. But now it's
Instagram.
Like, but now it's Instagram, but it's also like all your family's on there now, and it's just like, oh, okay.
It is weird. So like my Facebook is unusable. At the point where I'm at right now, where my inbox is full, essentially full, and
I didn't know that was possible.
It's just the point where it's like I have a settings on my thing so that I can't accept messages. I have to accept messages before I can do them.
Okay.
And then like I said before, like I had private information on there by accident, and that fucked me. So like my Facebook is like I have a couple thousand friends on Facebook, and it's like my feed is useless. And that's like just not how I communicate with people.
I have less than 300. I dwindled it down. I went through recently, like a couple weeks ago. It was like a random morning, and I wasn't working for a couple hours. I was just like, I had nothing to do. I had nothing to edit. I was just like, I'm just gonna sit through this and.
I do that with my Instagram.
Bunch of people. Yeah, I did that with Instagram recently as well, where I was like, I don't like any of these posts. Why am I doing this to myself?
By the time I had gotten to Twitter, right, I had realized that I could really limit what I like, the type of people that I have on your feed.
Yeah.
You could follow me and we can interact with each other and we can have a great time. And there's people who politically I don't match up with, who I can get along with just fine on Twitter because I don't have to see their side.
Yep.
And it's like I just don't want to see that. And like, you know, there's like some people who are against gay marriage, you know, which like I'm not. I'm fucking 1000% for gay marriage. One of my good friends at IGN is I have tons of gay friends. Like I think it's ridiculous that anybody is against it. But like, is he a bad person? Maybe a little.
Yeah.
But like he's a product of the way he was raised, and so I get to interact with him sometimes, and then like they're generally pretty intelligent and like pretty. They're like fine, you know, the interaction is fine, and at the same time he's also seeing me, like I tweet out, like I retweet, you know, the LGBT community all the time.
Oh yeah.
So it's like he has to see that, and you know, maybe he'll unfollow me one day because he won't want to see that. And if he did, like that's fine. It's social media. You limit what you get. But like I get hate on social media all the time. Like we were at Target the other day when that dude just started blasting me on Twitter for no reason. Some guy I had never met before.
And it was like from a tweet from like 6 months ago or something that he called you out on. I was like, what the hell?
And you know, sometimes I'll retweet him and just let my supporters take care of him. But like I've realized that I shouldn't do that because then I get that person exactly what he wants, even though those 2 kids that did it deleted their Twitter. But that's because your boy Colin Moriarty
delete your Twitter.
Colin Moriarty said some stuff to them, and then it got picked up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Colin like ripped this kid apart for me. Called him literally a quote unquote a fucking loser, and the kid like deleted his Twitter.
Colin Moriarty, shout out to you.
But he was being really mean to me, and it's because like people think that the general consensus is that I got hired at IGN because I'm friends with the guys, and that they had like waved this magic wand, and then all of a sudden I had a job at IGN. And that is not how anything worked. That's not how it happened.
That's not how the industry works. Like,
they are definitely very important to my growth as a human being. There's let alone my industry, but like, you know, they are definitely a part of the reason why I got my job because they changed who I am.
Yeah.
But they're not solely responsible for it. So did I have an advantage? Yes, I did. I would be lying if I said I didn't. Being as good of friends with Tim as I am is a huge bonus for me. But you know, Tim was like, hey, you need to do all this stuff really well and be good at all this stuff, and then I will help you.
It's like it's sort of like here's another weird metaphor analogy for you, but I think that's less weird than the sex one that I made earlier.
Okay.
Is, you know, they can take you up to the door to the party, but you got to walk in.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's like they can open doors for you.
Nailed it.
They can open a door for you, or they can show you the door. But you have to be able to, like, there's a great jiu-jitsu saying, knowing the path and walking the path are not the same thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, people can know how to get a job at IGN, but if they don't work for it, they'll never get it.
Exactly.
And it's like, people don't see all the hard work, and people don't see all the sacrifice. You know, like, I left everything I know. You know how many people think I've lived in the Bay Area forever? Most people think that I'm from the Bay Area.
Really?
Yeah, I get that on Twitter all the time. Why are you complaining about San Francisco? And I'm like, well, I'm new here. And they're like, you haven't lived in San Francisco this whole time? I'm like, no, I flew myself across the country 14 times in the last year.
Yeah.
To like try to get a job here, you know, like, and I paid for all that. No one paid for that. And they don't see all the nights where you're editing and fucking crying because this goddamn audio slips out of sync at 142 and you can't figure out why.
Yep.
You can't fix it.
Well, the reason why I figured this out is because frame rates.
Yeah.
Frame rates
29.97 is like what it records. Yeah, I figured it out too.
Yep.
And it's like, but when you don't, before you figure that out, it's a nightmare.
It is. It was terror. And that, thankfully, I learned that like in the first few weeks of BCG. And then like after that, it was like smooth sailing. And
you just correct it with
it is like, I remember those nights of just like, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? And the worst nights is like, for some reason, your video will process in like the whatever editor that you're using, but for some reason, like while you play through it while editing, it's like skipping. Like it'll export fine, the video itself will be fine, but like the editor itself just can't process like playback, and so you have to like literally scroll second by second to make sure it's maybe sunk up and all this stuff. It's like it's a
nightmare.
lot of work. Yeah,
and it's like, I have no form of education like for that. So like I taught myself like a lot of that stuff, and then like I flew myself to these parties and then would go to the parties and talk to the people and then ask people like my boss currently, who I met a year ago, hey, what do I have to do to get hired? And he would be like, you need to do this, this, and this.
Yes.
And then I would go do those things. And like, they're not easy, but you know, and it's like, or I would like fly out to SF and then fly home and get home at 4 o'clock in the morning and then go to work on Monday at 6 a.m.
Yep.
You know, like people
I think
people don't see
basically
that.
what your situation was when you came back here in October.
Yeah.
And for the IGN house party.
Yeah.
Were you and
I was on the
Tom's-
ground for 20 hours.
Yeah.
And then I was in the air.
You guys
for
were literally
15.
like in and out. Like Alyssa didn't even see you guys at all. Like, and you were staying with me, and like I saw the amount of work that you put. Like, again, it's like social media is this weird thing. It's like you were saying, you don't see it, and you don't appreciate it until you're actually seeing it. Until I see you guys in my apartment doing all of this crazy work that you were doing.
Yeah, we were exporting videos while we were there.
Yeah, and trying to upload with my shitty AT&T Uverse internet,
Yeah,
where it was like
brutal.
it was like a 5 gigabyte video. And
Those are the gorilla days.
and it was like a 6-hour upload or something. And then, but we sort of got that figured out a little bit. But yeah, but social media, what do you think the effect it will have on the future, especially with kids who don't know a life without social media? Like, because you and I, like, we actually like originated from this time where it was like right before like
Yeah, I remember
Facebook
what
and
life
MySpace.
was like before the internet.
Exactly, and
Like before I had access to the internet.
exactly it was spending your days out on the streets, hanging with your kids, playing,
I mean, but I still.
but also playing video games.
Here's
and
the
stuff.
thing, right? So, this is always going to come down to parenting. People are going to blame social media and the access to internet and video games for all the problems in the future. And is it going to contribute to them? Probably. But no different than my dad who watched fucking 65 hours of television a week. You know, like, it's not different between that and video games.
Yeah.
Except for in video games, I'm learning hand-eye coordination.
Yes, exactly.
But, like, and with social media, I think the effect that it's going to have is I think mostly positive. Because, like, social media is going to give the people who maybe aren't good at dating an opportunity to date.
Yeah.
With like Tinder and OkCupid, and I met my
we've
last
already-
girlfriend on that.
We've already sort of seen that in like the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Even before like Facebook was
60% of relationships. Like, I know people who would never be able to make an approach in real life, like ever, under almost any circumstances. I could be like, hey, she thinks you're the hottest thing that's ever walked in this earth. But like those same dudes like met their girlfriends on Tinder, and they were like, or OkCupid, or another dating app,
Yeah.
and like that is. Like that access to internet is useful.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, some people abuse the system, but you know that's going to be with any system. You're always going to have that.
Yeah.
And
Any
so,
aspect of life, there's going to be
someone who
assholes,
abuses
like,
it. Yeah. And I think that social media, all in all, is a good thing. I can keep up with my friends who don't live here very easily. I know everything that Andy does. I know everything that Brian does. When they tweet, my phone rings. You know, even if it's not to me, because I want to keep up with what my friends are doing.
He knows
with
everything
Fred.
I do because he peeks into my window at night
Yeah.
when I sleep, and
You know, I know everything that Fred does because it's easy for me to keep up. And like my
And that's
parents
really
know
awesome.
my life now because I tweet about my life as it happens. And I think social media's effects are going to be mostly positive, but there will always be negative effects to everything. But like, it's the same argument that I have with video games. Like, can video games be played to a point where they're damaging? Yeah.
yeah,
But
exactly.
you can
but
do
it's also
anything to the point of being damaging to
Exactly. It's just it's more of like and I like that you said that because I'm sort of in that same vein where it's like I don't think it's gonna have like this negative outcome or anything in the future for these kids who don't know a life without social media. But it's also, you know, it's being able to be a parent and to raise kids correctly in that environment, right? Like when you and I were growing up, it was definitely like it was TV and video games, and it's on the parent to be like, okay, you need to sit yourself.
Yeah,
you
I
need to
wasn't
sit your
allowed.
ass down and like read a book.
I wasn't allowed to play video games during the week if I had homework.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's just the way it was. And
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you're talking to somebody who works at IGN whose life is video games. And that's the way my parents made it. They were like, hey, this is the way it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, did I eventually wear them down? Yeah. But for a while, that was my life and it sucked. But you know, like, I played outside more. You know, but I also love playing outside. I'll tell you this, like, I think that social media right now is at its stage because it's so new, so there's so volatile. People are not yet seeing the repercussions of being a negative person on social media, and this is going to catch up with them eventually.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy to think in a couple of years we're gonna have a president who, like, we know did some weird shit because it's on his Instagram and someone fucking screenshotted it. You know, or like that is. It all comes down for me is like Greg Miller, who is my friend,
of IGN,
of Kind of Funny and IGN.
and Kind of Funny. Yeah.
He really changed the way I use social media. And people are going to think this is a promoting thing, but it's not. I mean, my social media is normally a place of positivity because I know that's where people go, like, to see what's going on with me.
Yeah, because they want to get away from their,
But it's also a really easy way for me to reach people who are getting nothing but negative heat. So like the director of Hardcore Henry, or like all these other people that I've reached out to after I've seen their movies and been like, hey, I'm going to look up, I love the cinematography in this movie. I'm going to look up the cinematographer's name. Now I'm going to find their Twitter. And now that guy who has 500 Twitter followers, who does not in social media at all, I'm going to reach out to him and talk to him about why I liked Hardcore Henry. And that guy, remembered messaging me back, being like, I got nothing but shit for this. Thanks. Like, I've been getting nothing but shit. I'm really glad you enjoyed the movie.
That's awesome.
And I reach out to people like that all the time. Like the mother in Eddie the Eagle, some actress. I forget her name now, but
Eddie the Eagle.
Yeah, it's not weird, but it's like a smaller movie that came out this year. I watched it and I loved it, and I reached out to her.
Oh, the one where he's like flying. He does like this weird skiing thing, and Wolverine's in that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, I got you.
I reached out to her, and she reached out back to me. She was like, "Thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed the movie." And it's like, I'm sure she's gonna get 100 tweets easy of people being like, "Fuck you," blah blah blah. But like those tweets that from my account that go to her that she could see, like, "Hey, this guy liked it," and I don't know if this person, I don't follow her. I'm not going to give her a follow just because it's like I read her stuff and it's not something that I'm interested in. But like I can reach out and make it a positive impact. And like I've deleted more tweets than I've sent. When it comes to like sometimes I am really pissed off about something, or I'll watch something like I think WWE 2K16 is the worst video game I've played in 13 years, 15 years. And I was like originally going to tweet that out, but like somebody might see that. And no one does anything.
Yeah, like,
and I'll say that now, right? And if they want to reach back out to me, I'll tell them why. But like, I don't need my whole audience to know that.
Yeah.
And like, I think that it's a really bad game. But no one went into that game being like, "Hey, we're gonna make a fucking shitty game today, right? You're gonna fuck that guy up."
Someone like they put their heart into it.
Because I've worked on shitty videos.
Yeah.
And I didn't want them to be shitty, but they were shitty.
Yeah. And
then when someone pointed out they were shitty, I was like, I know. I'm sorry. Like, that's not what I wanted to do, but it worked out like that. So it's just, I delete tweets like that all the time. And unless it's like something I'm really upset about or really don't like, or I have constructive criticism that I can gain. Cause like I could tell you why WWE 2K is bad from like a surface level, but I don't know what development time was like. I don't know what cuts they had to make. I don't know anything about the studio. And now that I have friends that make video games that like I see kill themselves. Like Brian was working like
shout out to Brian.
13, 14-hour days before the San Diego Comic-Con to get that trailer that was out in time.
Oh yeah, or like Wonder Woman and Blue Beetle.
Yeah, their whole studio was working on that. Crazy. And he was working on the Collision system, and it's like I know how hard that motherfucker worked. And if Injustice comes out and is bad, he poured his heart into that game. He didn't want to make a bad game. It just turned out that way. It wasn't in the cards. So I think social media can be powerful, but there's always going to be shitty people everywhere.
I mean, yeah, there's shitty people in real life, shitty people online, shitty people who aren't even real.
Yeah, probably watching this podcast, Cameron, you piece of shit. I'm just kidding.
Damn. I don't even know what Cameron you're referencing. I know a lot of Camerons.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, Cameron's a good friend of mine.
Okay.
From Arizona.
Oh, Cameron Abbott.
Yeah, he plays Torbjorn, unsexiest comedian on
from Naughty Gamers. Go check him out.